if you go on to 2 lines. No, it doesn't. After you type in that first sentence up at the top, hit return twice. The reason that you hit return twice is in a few minutes we're going to make a change. And if you don't hit return twice, it's going to bump your text up against each other and it doesn't leave a space. So by hitting return twice, when you start adding content and we make a change here in a few minutes, you'll always have that space inside there. It's just one of those tricks that I've learned in here. So on this page, in the first paragraph, what phrases should be in that first paragraph? All of them except for my name and phone number. That doesn't need to be in there.
Are those spaces critical after the pipes?
Okay. I do the space, pipe, space. And by the way, that vertical bar is called a pipe. Who does not know where that's at on your keyboard? It's okay to raise your hand. If you look on your keyboard, it's over on the right-hand side, right above the Enter key. It's a vertical line. Hold your Shift key down, and that's called a pipe. You can use hyphens or you can use a pipe. I use the pipes because it's a more distinct separation between the phrases.
Is it my neighborhood or am I typing that?
Your neighborhood. If you don't know all the schools, just use the same elementary name or whatever it is. That's what I do sometimes, just to get familiar with it. After you do your first sentence up at the top, you have your phrases up there, you have your name, phone number, and all that. Hit return twice. And then I want you to type a couple of sentences in there about that neighborhood. We don't need a lot of content. I just want to show you how to add images. And then I'm going to show you how to add a video to a page. Okay. So everybody have some content? Okay. So let's talk about photos. Do you have to have a photo on a web page to help it enhance SEO? Yes and no. Okay. If you're going to add a photo, there are some things that search engines look for, but I'm not going to go into all of that because that really gets in depth. Okay. If you're going to add an image to your website, can you copy it from another website and paste it onto your page and it still work? Actually, yes, you can. You can go to Google, do a search for images, copy the image, paste it on your web page, and save it, and that image will display. However, do you have control over that image? You don't. If at any time they delete the image, or the page is deleted, or the URL to that image changes or something like that, you'll show a red X on your web page. Have y'all seen pages like that before where red X? Okay, it's a broken link. Something's wrong where it's linking for that image itself. What I recommend is that you actually upload the images yourself to what's called the photo library or photo graphics library. Inside your HTML editor, there's a button that says Open Photo Graphics Library. Go ahead and click on that link. So Open Photo Graphics Library. Now under my images, I'm going to just take a guess here. About 3/4 of you, there's nothing under my images. Is that correct? Okay. Now if you look up on the screen, I'm just going to show you the process of uploading an image. Under my images, I can add image. I can browse. Did I move all my images? Okay, I can browse for an image. When I click upload, it's going to ask, I acknowledge that I hold the license to use this image and that I accept all liability for the use of this image. So basically, they're wanting to make sure that you own the rights to use that image. What you do from this point is up to you. So if you copy an image from another website and you load it inside your library, it's up to you. Out of 8 years of working with LeadStreet and websites with the agents and offices, out of 8 years, I've seen 2 emails or 2 letters actually sent, one to an office for a cease and desist on using an image that they didn't have the rights to, and one to an agent. It doesn't mean it won't happen to you, but if it does, and you're using an image that you don't have the rights to use, get rid of it as soon as possible. Okay? So everybody understand that? If you take a picture yourself, you have all the rights to use it. If you buy the image, you have the rights to use it. Just because the image is on a website doesn't give you the rights to use the image itself. However, what you do outside of class is up to you. Okay? So in this case, I click on upload, it'll upload the image itself, and there is no limit to the number of photos you can upload over on your My Images tab. The only thing that you have to be careful about, if you take a picture with a camera, a digital camera, by default, typically, they're in a large format. And what I mean by large format, they're about 1 meg in size, and they're anywhere between 1600 to 3200 megapixels, which is very, very big. You want to make sure you size them down. By rule of thumb, what I tell everybody is if you're going to size the image down, size it down to under 400 pixels width and height. And by the way, the guy in the corner, I forgot your name. What was that website for image resizing? PicResize.com. So write that down, PicResize.com. So that way you can resize your own images. Go ahead and click on Company Images, and then scroll about halfway down, or 3/4 of the way down. And you're going to see 2 Remax balloons with the number 1 on them. By uploading your own images inside here, you pretty much guarantee that you'll never have the red X. Okay, so under Company Images, scroll down about 3/4 of the way and look for the 2 Remax number 1 balloons. Click the one that's on the right. Okay. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do this. Okay, if everybody look up on the screen, I'm going to show you. In the Macs, the ones that are on Macs, I'm going to tell everybody else one command, but you're going to use a different command to paste inside here. Okay. So from here, the easiest way, okay, on regular PCs, place your mouse over the image, right click, copy the image. Okay. For Macs, if you're able to right click by using the 2-finger touch or whatever on the keypad, if you can right click and copy, that's fine. If you're not able to do that, click where the image is at, do a Command A. It'll select the image, and then a Command C will copy. Okay, those are the shortcuts. Command A will select the image or that window. Command C will copy. Okay, so you right click, click on copy. After you copy, you can go back to your content, click where you want to paste the image, and in this case, I'm going to paste mine at the beginning of my text. The HTML editor. Everybody look up on the screen. This is what's going to happen if you try to right click inside the editor. You cannot paste the image by right clicking. You have to use a shortcut. So if you do a Control V as in Victor, you can paste the image inside there. That makes it easy. So you can right click, copy, Command V, Control V, as in Victor, will paste. For the Macs, do the Command A will select the image, Command C will copy, then click where you want to put the image and do a Command V as in Victor, that will paste.
So Tim, this makes the page prettier, but it doesn't help SEO, is that correct?
No, all you're doing is making it look pretty for somebody to look at it. Okay, now if you look up on the screen, I put the image at the beginning of my text. And the reason I put it there is because I want the text to wrap around the image. So if you want the text to wrap around an image that you put inside here, you click on the image, it puts the little squares around the perimeter of the image. Go up to the HTML editor, align left, and it'll wrap the text around the image. If you want the image over on the right, select the image, align right. So now you can have content actually wrap around the image itself. Okay, is everybody okay with that? Okay. Now here goes the fun part. How to add a video. I'm going to try to keep it really simple. Okay? I'm going to give you a couple of more commands.
You just said again how you did the wraparound text.
Just click on the image to where it highlights the image. And then up on the HTML editor, align left, align right, align center, and it'll actually wrap the text around it. Okay? Now, to add a video to a web page, once you get the hang of this, it's actually pretty easy. Now, before we get to YouTube, I'm going to give you a couple of more shortcuts. For PC users, it's Control and then another key. For Macs, it's Command and another key. So to give you an example, if you want to open up a new tab, okay, in your browser, Control T as in Tango opens up a new tab. Control N opens up a new window. For Macs, Command T opens up a new tab. Command N opens up a new window. So what I'd like for you to do is either open a new tab or open a new window and go to YouTube. When you get to YouTube, just do a search for Remax. And I'm selecting, Remax Fit to Sell. And then I'm going to pause the video when it starts playing. So go to YouTube, do a search for Remax. Find the video that's fit to sell. Click on that video. When the video starts playing, pause the video. The only reason I ask you to pause it, we don't need 20 different start and stop or 20 different videos playing at one time. It gets a little noisy and confusing. Okay. Who are we waiting on for a video? So waiting for it to load?
Are we supposed to pick one?
Yes. So if you do a search for Remax, if you find the fit to sell, go ahead and click on fit to sell. And when it starts playing, pause the video. Yes.
On the image,
Mm-hmm.
I kept doing it just kept copying.
Not the image address, okay?
Yep.
Since you're on the Mac, you click on the image, a left click on the image, do a Command A, Command C. Okay, now close that window. Yeah, delete that. Command V. Okay, now on this part, because it puts that little window inside there, you can actually at this point click on the image
Oh, and then just move it over.
and drag it over and drop it to where you need to put it.
Okay.
And at that point, how do you scroll up? Oh, there you go. So at this point, now you can align left or align right, and the text will wrap around it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, go ahead and click on the video. Okay, does everybody have a video? Were you able to get caught up? Okay, now on the video, in order to take and put a video or embed a video inside your web page, you need the code to copy. Place your mouse in the middle of the video. And you're going to right click. When you right click, you're going to have one of two options. Copy embedded code or copy embedded HTML. So it's going to be one or two things. Copy embedded code or copy embedded HTML. When you right click,
Yeah, it says copy video URL, copy video URL, copy embedded HTML.
copy embedded HTML. That's what I was saying. It's going to give you one or two. It's either going to say copy embedded code or copy embedded HTML. Okay, so right click. Okay, if you're not on the Macs, if you're not able to right click, just be patient with me for a second. All right, after you right click and copy that content, all PC users pause for a minute because we have to help the apples. Okay?
Apple a day.
All right, so if you're not able to right click on the video, right below the video, okay. So if you're not able to right click on the video, right below it, there's a grayed out share. If you click on share, that's going to drop down and it's going to give you a couple of more options. Then you're going to click on embed, which is also grayed out. And you're going to copy the code that's highlighted. Okay? So if you can't right click, click on share, embed, and then copy the code that's inside there. Okay. So after you copy that coding, go back to the HTML page that you just created. Okay. Now, I see agents make this mistake all the time. When you copy the coding, your first instinct is to take up. I didn't copy the code. Okay? Your first instinct is to paste it inside here. That does not work. Okay? In order for the code to work, you see that big bold HTML button? Click on the HTML button. Scroll all the way to the bottom. And to the right of the last character, just click to the right of the last character. I always hit return one time. And the only reason for that is to make sure that I'm not returning another code or something that's in there. Okay, when I hit return, I want to make sure that it's clean. When you hit return, paste. Control V is paste. Then after you paste, click on OK. And now you should have a gray box inside your window. Okay. Now, if you want to center this box, it's pretty simple. It's just like an image. If you click on it, and then align center, it'll center the box. Now, right now, you can't see what the video looks like because it's not live on the website, but you see the gray box. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do is go ahead and scroll to the bottom and don't do anything. I almost missed a step. Okay. All right. Before we move on, okay?
I just want to know how to scroll that box down.
What do you mean scroll the
Well, I
box?
went back to my page, and I can't see any of my No, I scrolled up. There was nothing.
No, scroll up there. There it
Oh,
is.
there it is.
See? Okay. Now, before y'all make any changes, let's say you want to put the video in between your text. Let's say you have a bunch of paragraphs and you want to put a video in between the text. One of the things that you can do is go to that paragraph, hit return one time so it puts a space in there. Just type in a couple of characters in all caps and everything. And the reason that you're doing that, it makes it easy to find that position in the HTML. Can anybody read that? If you look, here are the X's. Okay? So by doing X's or B's, C's, S's, it doesn't matter. As long as you use a character multiple times, it'll help you identify where you want to put the coding. So basically what you'll do is you'll delete whatever those letters are that you put in there. You'll paste the coding, and that would allow you to submit the video in between paragraphs. Okay? So that's just something else to throw out there. Typically the agents put it at the bottom of their content because it's easier. Okay? Now, adding a video to a page, does it help with SEO? Unfortunately, it does somehow. Okay? I wish I could say it doesn't. I've actually tested it. I created a web page, and it took about 4 days for it to get indexed or crawled by the search engines. The reason I know that is I use a software called Google Webmaster Tools. So it actually tells me when a page gets crawled. So it took about 4 days for a page to get crawled. No video. Created another web page, not identical because you can't do that with search engines, but very close, content same length and everything else. I got it crawled within 2 days. And the only difference, a video. That's the only thing difference between the two. Okay, now maybe it was because Google was coming back and crawling the website again, I don't know. But it got crawled faster than the other one. And the only difference was the video itself. Okay? Now, remember earlier I said there's steps that search engines look for, or things that they look for on a web page? One of the last things that you want to do on this web page is to make sure that you have what's called an H1, or a heading 1. Every web page you create should always have a heading 1. And it's a number 1. That first sentence at the top of your page should always be the H1. And so how do we change that to an H1? Highlight that first sentence. After you highlight it in the HTML editor, click on Formats, mouse over Headings, and then select Heading 1. When you select Heading 1, what's going to happen is the formatting of that first line is going to change. The font's going to change, the size of it and everything. Now, I don't like the default size of it, so I always change my font size.
So another way I've done that is to choose header 2, 3, or 4, but are you saying that that's the wrong way to do it?
Okay. Search engines always look on a web page to see if there's the H1 first. Then if there's other headings, then it goes in that order. And in the heading format, you have heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down to it never ends. Okay? If you're going to use multiple headings on your web page, they have to be in numerical order. Now, numerical order 1, 3, 5, 7. Is that numerical order? Yes, it is. 2, 4, 6, 8. Is that numerical order? Yes, it is. 1, 5, 3, 7. Is that numerical order? No, it's not. So your headings, if you're going to use multiple headings on a web page, okay, make sure they're in numerical order, because if they're out of order, it will count against you. What I typically tell everybody is just do the first sentence as a H1 or a heading 1. Don't worry about the other ones. You can still do bolds, italics. You can increase the font size and all that. Stick with the H1 in the first sentence itself. So as everybody set that first sentence as an H1. If you have not done it, do it right now. Because in a few minutes, you will need that first sentence. So highlight it, set it to a heading, Click on Format, mouse over Heading, set it to Heading 1. If you want to change the font size, change the font size. If you want to center the text on the page, center the text on the page. After you've done all of that, make sure you copy the first sentence. Because I'm telling you, you will need it in a few minutes.
Copy the header.
Copy the header, the heading 1. Copy this. You will need it in a few minutes. So you highlight it, Control C, copy. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you a question over here? So I can't seem to get this to wrap around, so
Okay, so
I'm on Apple. Not a huge issue, but just wondering if you knew.
a while ago I just grabbed hers and drug it over and it wrapped.
Okay.
We can play on it in a minute. Okay, make sure you copy that first sentence. After you copy the sentence, scroll to the bottom, click on Submit. Okay. So basically what we did is we went in and we created a web page. Okay? Added content, added a video, added image. What's the last thing you want to make sure you do on every single web page? No. Wrong, wrong. What's the last thing on the web page that you want to do before you submit it? The first sentence at the top, what should it always be? A heading 1. If you skip that, take a ring out of the ladder. Possibly take 2 of them out. That's how important that first sentence is to be a heading 1. So do not forget that. Always, the first sentence of every single web page, that first sentence at the top is always a heading 1. Okay, that's the hard part. Creating the web page, adding content to it, making sure you have the heading 1. The next step is really simple. Creating saved searches. Creating saved searches, you can sit down and hammer out multiple searches very quickly. On my website, I hammered all my saved searches out probably within an hour or so, because you can do them back to back. And after you create them, nobody sees them until you do something with them anyway. Okay? So up at the top, scroll to the top, click on My Searches. So under My Searches, there's 2 links over on your left-hand side. My Searches, Manage Searches. Right below that, the first link says Create, Edit, and Agent Search. Is that correct?
Create my search.
I forgot my. Create My Agent Save Search.
Create a my agent.
Okay. So on the Create a My Agent Save Search, I want you to click on that link. And basically what we're going to be doing, we're going to create a saved search based upon the criteria that we put in. So when you click on Create a My Agent Save Search, a map shows up. Now when the map shows up, can we create a neighborhood search from this map? It's okay, when it comes up on your page, look at it. Can you create a neighborhood search from that page? Trick question. No, you cannot. You can only search by city, zip code, price range, beds, baths, and so on. Okay? So in order to create a search based upon a specific criteria, over on the top right side of your map, you see the link where it says Advanced Search. Underneath the search button, top right side, I'll even point it out to you. It's right here. Advanced Search. Now the Advanced Search is going to take you to a list of multiple MLS boards. Since we're in Houston, bless you, click on the number of listings for the Houston MLS. If you're in College Station, look for Bryan College Station. If If you're in a different MLS, scroll down and select that MLS itself. Now when you click on the advanced search, click on the numbers for your MLS. Another window opens up with a bunch of tabs. Okay. Now in this case, for Houston, we got detailed, city, MLS, neighborhood, school, school district, zip code. Okay, now before we go in and start actually creating searches, we're creating a search for a specific neighborhood. How many neighborhoods are in the Houston MLS? Okay, we'll just use the word a lot. How many zip codes? A lot. How many schools? Elementaries, junior highs, and high schools. How many individual schools? Okay, I'm going to go with a lot again. All right, and what else is up there? Zip codes, school districts. How many school districts? I'm going to say bunches. I don't think there's as many as neighborhoods. All right. Well, if you think about it, you can create a search for every single school, elementary, junior high, high school, every school district, every neighborhood, every zip code, every city. And that's not even breaking it down using advanced criteria inside there. So now you know how this guy created freaking 1,200 pages. All right? Again, I don't know if he sold anything, but you're limited to what time you have available to put in here, and as long as you do it right, it will work for you. Okay. Now the searches, yes, sir.
Is there anyone you can train for $5 to do that for you on that website?
Actually, Premier Services, which is called Real Leads, they're $35 a month. I think I talked about that this morning. They'll actually help you create all that stuff. The only thing they will not do is write the content.
Where's that website?
It's actually on the homepage under site builder, site design, over on your right hand side, Premier Services. Okay, so back on this, click on the neighborhood tab. When you click on the neighborhood tab, the alphabet's going to show up. Click on the letter that your neighborhood begins with.
Where's the neighborhood tab? Oh,
We don't have one.
Y'all don't have a neighborhood
no.
for College Station? Freaking Aggies.
No, this is all we have. That's it.
Okay, do me a favor.
Yeah.
No. No, I'm going to give you my email address. Somebody remember this. It's Timothy@remaxtexas.com. At remaxtexas.com.
Okay.
And just put in the email that you don't have the neighborhood displaying inside the advanced search. And what I'll do is I'll go directly to Reliance to have them look at that, because y'all should have the neighborhoods. Okay? As long as it's provided by the IDX feed, y'all should have that.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully, what did it say, Friday? Probably won't get done until probably Tuesday or so next week, but send me the email so I can get that to them.
Okay.
Well, since you don't have the neighborhood, just choose like a city or something. It's okay.
Are you sending it? Okay.
Okay. So for everybody else that has a neighborhood or a city, it all works the exact same way. Click on the letter that your neighborhood begins with. If it's a city, scroll down and select your city. And in my case, I'm looking for Nottingham, so oh, this is a good one. Okay. So if you're going to do a neighborhood, when you select the letter that your neighborhood begins with, does it give you a city that it's associated to? It doesn't. Do you think that there's a possibility that there's another city within the Houston MLS that might have that same neighborhood name? Possibly, it could be, except for Cinco Ranch. There's only one Cinco Ranch that I know of so far. So if there's different sections or different phases, in this case, I know it as Nottingham, but there's a Nottingham Forest, there's a Nottingham Country Section 1 and R. I couldn't even tell you where that's at. So to make sure I'm covering everything for that neighborhood, I select every single one of those. If you have different sections, different phases, You want to make sure that you select each one of those. After you select them, on the bottom, there's a search button. Click on search. And actually, this is a really good one. Okay. Okay, now when you click on search, the listings should display on the map. In this case, if you look up on the screen, I'll actually zoom in a little bit. I know the listing that's in Conroe and the one that's in Galveston, that is not the Nottingham I'm looking for. So everybody look up on the screen for a second. When you select the neighborhoods and you run your search, if there's listings that are outside of the neighborhood that you're looking at, use the map to filter out those listings. And there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can zoom in to where it's only that neighborhood that's displaying. Okay, so I started off with 27 listings. If I keep zooming in, here's all the listings that are displaying. If I take and move the map over to where those listings are no longer being displayed within that window, and I let go, it will exclude those listings because they're not in that map preview. Okay, so sometimes you'll have listings that are way out. You know, agents always put the listings in the right neighborhoods, right? Okay. The last step is to actually save this search.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So when you get your target properties in the map, you don't have to click a button to say only these.